In this lesson, we'll learn how to use the connection editor to wire together attributes. The connection editor is very straightforward. We'd use it to connect attributes. Let's go ahead and access it under Window, General Editors, and you'll find it third in the list. Alright, so what we'll need to do now is find the attributes to tie together. In our lesson, what we'll do is tie the engine thrust custom parameter we made to the rotate x-axis of our engine thrust blades, so we can start to have them fan out. So what we'll want to do first is go in and grab our animation control and load that on our output side, the left side. We could also call this our driver side. Now, as far as what should be controlled, well, we know that to be our thrust geometry. Let's go ahead and select that and load that on our input side. Now, looking at this at first glance might seem kind of tricky to work with, but it's really straightforward. You'd simply select what you'd like to be the controller on your left side first, and then you can go ahead and choose what you'd like to be driven by that controller on the right side. So in our case, let's go ahead and scroll down until we find our custom attribute, turbine thrust. If you would like to clean up your view, just FYI, feel free to head over to the display menus. So here's our left display. We can go ahead and uncheck Show Non-Keyable. Notice how much better that is to work with. A lot of those other attributes we have just seen, they're more complex connections that we can make. In our case, to avoid the hassle, let's go ahead and uncheck again that option. We could do the same thing on the right side. Much better. So now it's a lot easier to connect our turbine thrust parameter to control the rotation x-axis of our thrust geometry. So in no time at all, let's go ahead and take a look at this. I'll minimize the connection editor. We have one side rigged. So if we were to go to our turbine thrust and start to adjust it, you can see, all right, we're getting those blades fanning out the way we wanted them to. Beautiful. So let's go ahead and take care of the next side. We should know how to do that by now. It's just a matter of grabbing the geometry, loading that on to the right side, and now expanding our rotate list, we'll go ahead and grab the rotate x-axis. You can see that the left side is already taken care of, no need to reselect it. Alright, so let's say we go ahead and test this out. So we'll start to adjust our custom attribute value. Beautiful. So the animator will enjoy this very much. So there we have it. In this lesson, we've learned how to work with the connection editor to wire attributes together. If you would ever like to remove a connection, you have a few ways you can do that. You can simply select the channel, right-click, and choose Break Connections. So that's one way. Or another way, if I were to go ahead and undo that, is to head back over to your connection editor, load in the objects the same way you normally would. You'll notice when we select our turbine thrust and expand our rotate list again, you can see the connection here, and it's just a matter of selecting that once again to remove the connection. So you have a few ways you can go ahead and kind of break the link if you need to. But in our case, we want that type of behavior. It's really neat, and it will look nice by the time we get into our final animation.